Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Relationships, so important in our lives. We are social creatures. We crave connection. But sometimes those relationships don't go exactly the way we want them to, especially the romantic relationships. And there's actually a reason for that, potential reason for that. How many times have you heard somebody, or maybe you've said yourself, let's say you're a woman and you say, I don't know what it is. Like all men are the same. It's like they're all the same and they just not right, not good people. There might be a reason. You might be picking them and not even realizing it of what's going on there. Hypnotherapy can uncover that and change that pattern for you and so much more. We're going to learn about that today. She is a hypnotherapist, also harnesses the power of Chinese medicine through acupuncture and herbals and so much more. Based out of New York City, so great to have our professional of the year, Dr. Kelly, joining us again on the program. How is everything with you today?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you doing?
Fantastic. And this is a big topic, what we're going to talk about today, because many of us may have gone through many years of seeing the same types of relationships before us and not wondering why that happens, why you find the same people, but they're not the best people for you. But I'm going to detect that this is probably something that goes back in your history, maybe even your childhood, that is kind of pushing you to pick those people for different reasons, right?
Yes. Actually, I'm amazed how our childhood related so much about our lives. Doesn't matter it's a relationship, it's money, it's parenting. So almost everything we can trace back to our childhood, to our parents, even great parents. I want to talk about this because I want people kind of like realize if you have some repeating patterns, you may want to think about, does that have something to do with my parents' relationship or with my childhood? So hypnosis can really help you to dig out these kind of things and help you to kind of like know which is the right path you should go instead of just repeating on the wrong path.
So how about we give some hypotheticals, and I'm just making these up here, but let's say you're a woman and you keep finding men that aren't the best for you. Like you might get into a relationship and I don't know, 6 months, a year, 2, 3, 5, whatever. You just realize, but here we go again. Like he's doing the same thing the last one did. And then you complain to your friends and you just don't understand what's going on there. Hypothetically, it could be you're picking men based on what you didn't get in your relationship with your father, and you're trying to get that from somebody else or that attention from that person. And that's why you keep picking the same type of people without even knowing that you're doing that. I'm going hypothetical. Is that even possible?
Yeah, actually, we can talk about one of the example.
Sure.
So one of the girl, she said, since she started to date, like even back to 18 years old, until now, she's more than 30 already. But all the boyfriends she met or she think interested with each other are non-available. Either they already have a girlfriend or they already married. So this pattern has been going on since college until now. This really bothered her because she want to get married and have children because, women kind of like have some worry that when we pass down, some age, they're like, oh, well, I'm getting old. I may, have difficult to have a baby. So, but even she really want to have a family, have a children, but all the guys are unavailable. They already married, which means that she cannot really have a family with them. So that's why, she is helping, she needs help to do like hypnosis to find out why the repeating pattern had been going on for so long.
And just to reiterate and confirm there, why was she picking those people that really weren't available? Either they were married or they had somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. So during the hypnosis, we found out when she was a child, her father was not really helpful in the family. Not really hanging around with her mom. Like when they need help, the father is not inside the house. So her mom had to do everything kind of like by herself, although, she has a husband, a husband not around all the time. So when she was a child, she saw her mom, the marriage, the husband is not really helping a lot. You have to do it by yourself. She kind of like, she didn't really, consciously planted that seed, but in her heart, she's like, I don't want to go through what my mom went through. So have a family, but husband not around. I have to go through everything by myself.
Hmm.
So because of that, that's kind of like we can call it childhood trauma or we can call it, you know, whatever. But because of that experience, she kind of like in her subconscious mind, she tried to avoid in a relationship she can really start a family and have children because of her mom's experience.
So, do you think that she was intentionally picking people that weren't available without knowing it? But it's just we don't even know that we're doing it, or we're attracting the wrong people with sending that energy out there, not even knowing it. Would you say that she was finding those people because she wasn't ready for a relationship? She didn't want to repeat what maybe her mom had gone through. So without even knowing it, she's picking people that aren't even available.
That's basically exactly what it is. So subconsciously, she kind of like picking up all these unavailable people. So she is not really in a serious relationship to start a family. So she's not really have to face being responsible for the family by herself without a husband not even maybe around that
Mm,
much. So
mm.
like you said, she actually subconsciously literally picked up these unavailable people.
It almost sounds like in this instance that she was basically sabotaging her relationships because and didn't even know that she was doing it.
Yes, exactly. She didn't even consciously know actually it is herself pick up these unavailable guys
Wow.
to protect kind of like herself.
Yes.
Or because that guy is not available, so I don't have to commit myself in a relationship.
Mm, wow. I will tell you this. There was a time where I was single, doing dating and meeting women that had anxiety. I don't know, like what was going on. We all have anxiety. I get that totally.
Yeah, yeah,
Elevated levels, like a
yes.
multiple, many different meds for anxiety, and they would always show up. I'm like, what's going on there? Did some
Mm.
hypnotherapy, and then I figured it out that my mom was always overprotective, but I didn't look at that as anxiety so much. I just, when I was growing up, she was overprotective. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, that got revealed within hypnotherapy that I was finding women like my mom who had elevated levels of anxiety. And I don't know why it would be. Maybe I'm the fixer. I'm the one that will walk that journey and help you through it. I don't know what it is, they would show up one right after another. Now I'm aware of it. So, again, we all have anxiety, but there was a pattern of an elevated anxiety, but it traced right back to my mom. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. We are repeating these patterns. We kind of like familiar, like you mentioned about your mom being a little bit overprotective, so she kind of like have a lot of anxiety, try to protect you of, other people. But because you were like growing up in that kind of environment, just somehow you just attract the person who will have a little bit anxiety because
Mhm.
it's so familiar to you, right?
Yes, that's the other part. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, like it's comfortable. I grew up with that, but I didn't even realize it that overprotectiveness was anxiety. Essentially, that's really what it was. But yeah, right back to the childhood again. How about some other things? Any other examples you can give us of relationships and how it goes back to our past?
Yeah, actually, I did several actually sessions with this young guy. So, he said his wife and his mom actually they share they share a lot about, for example, they both kind of like has the fear of uncertainty, both have the fear of, finance. They kind of like, oh, you need to have a stable job so you can bring a paycheck every month. But if you start your own company, it's like unknown, it's uncertain, it's very scary.
Mm,
So he grew up in that kind of family because his father is an entrepreneur, has his own company, went through some, finance challenge. And his mom just had, a stable job. So somehow when he got married, his wife is almost exactly like, his mom. And he has a lot of similarity like his father. It's like a repeating pattern of the parents' marriage.
mm, wow. Would you say the majority of what pilots our relationships really goes back to our childhood?
Yeah, I would think it's almost like 99%. Like,
Mm,
for example, another example is, this lady, when she grew up, like she got a lot of criticism about the father, like, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. So that's all his childhood, like being criticized about not good enough.
mm,
Somehow, when there is a guy who love her, like think she's the most beautiful, smart woman in the whole world, she is not really interested. But when she met a guy who is like, oh, you didn't do that really good, you didn't do that correct. Somehow he picked up the guy who criticized her a lot. So what does that tell us?
it goes back to your childhood.
Right? You just pick up something you went through because it's so familiar to you, you know what's going on. You pick up the guy, although nobody like to be criticized, right? We all actually like people give us like, oh, you are so good, you're so smart. We like that. But somehow when we pick up a relationship, somehow we pick up the person who just kind of like not really make us happy even
Mm, mm,
like all that related with our childhood actually.
100%. And I'll tell you a story that I'm very familiar with, where this couple got divorced, and it was kind of a surprise to the family. The mom, the wife, just said, "Yeah, I'm done. That's it." Kids were shocked. The husband, who went out, shocked, came out of nowhere in many regards. So he started tracing it back and found out that she was unfaithful for many years. That got uncovered. And
Hmm.
then when he did deeper research into this, because it just wasn't making sense, it turns out that she was dating a guy who, if you looked at the pictures of her father and the guy she's with, they're the same person. They look the same, a little bit younger, but same ethnic background, same type of job, same everything. And her father left the family abruptly when she was a child and had
Hmm.
been cheating. So she basically repeated the same scenario. And, from what I understand, maybe that she didn't have a close relationship with her father. So now she was looking for somebody to take that role. And she just did exactly what he did. Just up and left the family. And that was it. Trace right back to the father. And the pictures showed, like, I saw the pictures and like, oh my God, it looks like it's the same person. It's wild, but she's basically with dad again, but she's really not. He has since passed away, by the way. So right back there, right back to the childhood once again. So whatever the number you said, like 90% typically, seems very reasonable. Really does.
Yeah, that's why I think hypnosis is so important to people. I mean, most people, when they think about hypnosis, they just think about, oh, can help people quit smoking, can help people about phobia, can help people, about maybe like, anxiety or something. Actually, hypnosis can help you about everything, relationship, money, parenting, whatever, because we all have somehow, we call it kind of like childhood trauma or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about this again. We have half blood from father, half from mom, and one quarter from, grandparents. So we inherited good stuff and bad stuff. So, long time ago, the life, a little bit rougher than today. I mean, so we all went through something difficult. So in that way, also, I mean, like in general, there are a lot of things we didn't even know. For example, about how to be a good parent, right? Don't criticize your children when they make a mistake, right? Like, for example, I mentioned about little girl. If a girl being a princess doesn't want to touch anything dirty, parents shouldn't just criticize about, oh, you are just such a being princess. Talk with the girl through about how to handling the dirty stuff. You can wear gloves or something, right? Don't just criticize them. They want to, use a clean bathroom. Yeah, try to explain. Oh, it's difficult, it's very hard to find a clean bathroom sometimes. You shouldn't hold your pee because it's bad for your health. Instead, just criticize the little girl. So if we all know that how important to talk to the children to avoid the trauma or something, to affect their whole life, I think we all have a much better, happier life.
Mm. I was just thinking that too. Imagine if we all were required before we got married or engaged in a close relationship, close, romantic relationship. Imagine if we had a few sessions of hypnotherapy. What could come up? You'd understand yourself better. You'd understand the other person better. I bet you like most relationships would still be intact today if people did things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I totally agree with you. Just unfortunately, when we go to school, doesn't matter like a high school or college, we don't really have this kind of lessons. We just got some knowledge about the biology or physics or computer. We don't learn this kind of things, but which actually is more important to us, actually. You can learn the knowledge of how to make a computer or something.
Mm-hmm.
But how to live a happy life, that's way, way more important to just find a job.
100%. Yeah. And we're just talking about the relationship end of things. We sabotage ourselves many times in relationships, always picking the person that doesn't really support us based on our childhood. But as we said before, we could be sabotaging our chance to make more money because we
Oh,
don't feel like we're worthy enough. Yes, of course, I should be making more money. I deserve to be making more. But there's something inside of us from our childhood that makes us feel that we're not worthy enough. So we sabotage the opportunity to make more money. You may go to a job interview. Yeah, of course, you're going to be a little bit nervous and all of that. But if you feel that you don't deserve or have the worthiness of that job, you might not even realize that during the interview, you answer improper. You don't feel confident. You're doing it to yourself, but you don't even know you're doing it, right?
Yes, exactly. Like some people like they make some money, but somehow they losing that money very quickly. They
Mm,
just cannot really hold on that money. Like it can going back like, oh, my parents working so hard. They made some money, but then somehow they losing the money in some way. So somehow in their subconscious mind is like, oh, making money is hard. Keep money is hard.
yep.
So they are repeating their parents, kind of like stuff. So in that way, if you do some hypnosis about the money, you clear some blocks. Actually, making money, I mean, you make a lot of money, doesn't matter what, it's not so easy. But making a money just have a decent life, it shouldn't be that hard. But because we have so many blocks, so it's make it much harder to have to make a decent money and keep it and have a good life.
Mm. It goes back to the childhood. It's amazing. And by the way, side note disclaimer here, we're not throwing any parents under the bus. We short of anything bad like abusive situations, we're not talking about that over to the side for this conversation. But parents are busy, multiple jobs, multiple kids. Life isn't easy. So you may not know that you're not giving your child the attention they need. Now, it could be another child, and they're perfectly fine. Everything's great, no problem. You're never even going to know that as a parent until later in life when your child realizes it. It's fascinating the way the mind works. It really is. But ultimately, it's to protect us. It's to protect
Yes,
us.
that's true. Yeah, we are not throwing any parents under the bus because there are a lot of things really. We never got taught how to be parents. Like for example, like this mom promised the child say this happened a long time ago, like, oh, if you get a 13 grade, oh, I'm gonna buy you a computer.
Hmm.
Then the mom have a box inside of the house, said, look over there on the shelf, that's a computer. When you get like, let's say top three, mommy will give you that computer. So the child really study hard, his grade really going up. So one day, mom is not at home. He like, let me just take a peek to look at what the computer it is. So he climbed on the shelf, opened the box. Guess what happened?
Mm. Go
The
ahead.
box is empty. So the child lost the trust with the mom. The child and you're not keep your promise. We made a deal, right? My grade going up. You're gonna give me a computer, but you put an empty box over there. So the boy then have very bad relationship with the mom. Doesn't want to talk to her. Doesn't even want to respond to the text message or something.
Mm.
The mom is like, I'm a single mom. I'm working very hard. I try to, make you have a good education. You can have better job later on, not has the same difficult job like mommy is. So I have good intention, but the child is, you lied to me. So I don't have the trust with you anymore.
Mm.
So you cannot really blame the mom. You cannot blame the child either. But the point is, it's hard after you broke that trust,
Yeah.
especially between a parent and a child.
Mm. It's not easy being a parent. It's not easy being adults, as we and our parents, they pilot on what they learned from their parents and the parents before. All can be remedied. And there can be great understanding through hypnotherapy. Fantastic. Best way to reach you for and by the way, it can be done virtually. You're in New York City, but you can work with anybody anywhere. I had a session with you about weight management and made some connections to my childhood that I'm embarrassed to say I didn't even pick up on. Like I like to think I'm reasonably normally intelligent. I should have made the connection, but I didn't. Hypnotherapy did. Kelly121acupuncture.com is the best way to find you, right?
Yes, I have a form on the website that I can fill in. And they also can call me or text to me at 347-885-1865.
Beautiful. Dr. Kelly, thanks for all the insight today. Amazing how this all works, but easily how you can move your life forward too. And we'll catch up next time, okay? Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.